Hi, it's my total privilege to be talking this Easter time about praying through the rhythm of daily prayer. I feel a bit of a hypocrite in that I love the thought of praying the rhythm every day, morning and evening, but I don't always do it. But I do sometimes. From the earliest of days, the church has created patterns of prayer that pay attention to the coming of the day and the arrival of the night. In other words, corporate prayers have been said at the beginning and at the end of each day, as well as in the middle of the day. For myself, this has slowly become a habit that has developed not from effort on my own part. My own efforts, strangely, just are never good enough. But what is good enough is the dawning realization that I need to pray and that I'm happier and more balanced when I pray the daily rhythm, morning and night. It's a bit like the tide coming in and the tide going out. I gain huge encouragement from meeting with those who live in community because they do this so much better than any of us who don't live in community. The religious communities to whom I refer, whether they are monks or nuns, Franciscans or Benedictines, actually pray 5 times a day. They pray in the morning, then in the middle of the day twice, because they also do the Eucharist in the middle of the day, normally, and then evening, and finally at bedtime. I also gain inspiration from the Celtic saints who probably prayed with the rhythm of the tides. Remember, people didn't have clocks. So they prayed as the tide reached its full and then as it reached its low ebb. What I so love about religious communities is that they don't ask the question, shall I go and pray now? Or shall I finish my emails and pray in 20 minutes? No, they just pray at the allotted time. Somebody rings a bell and they all show up. The bell is rung 5 or 10 minutes before prayers are due to start. So it's not a question of shall I go or when or if. Each year I go to a Franciscan friary for my annual retreat. And I notice that the friars always arrive early for each prayer time, and they sit in silence before they pray. They've already worked out who reads the different Bible readings and who leads the intercessions. Similarly, the friars don't seem to notice or care if the chapel is full. There might be 30 guests, or there may be no guests. Maybe just me sitting at the back, they might not have noticed me. But they pray anyway, the same way, every time. This is something I take into my pattern of prayer at my college, at Trinity College, where I've undertaken to lead evening prayers every day at 5 p.m. I try not to be pleased if 10 students arrive. Yes, we have a revival. No, or to be disappointed if no one arrives. Oh no, nobody cares. No, I try not to think those thoughts. I focus on the corporate commitment of praying to God in the company of angels and archangels. And the number of people present is no longer the issue. Possibly the person who's helped me most is Mother Teresa of Calcutta. She's best known for feeding the poor of Calcutta, but she was also a prioress. You know, she led a group of nuns, and each day they said their daily prayers. I think that her social care for which she's remembered arose out of prayer. Now, I'm going to share my screen now, and in sharing my screen, you'll get to see what I'm trying to tell you about Mother Teresa. Can you see that? What I want to say about her is that her life is a story of prayer and action, and she learned to follow Jesus. Her life was based on prayer, which of course leads her to do what God's mission is. And that means it goes into action, into service. A few things about her. She's born in Skopje in Macedonia, became a nun at the age of 18, and lived and worked subsequently in India for many years. She's well known and got the Nobel Peace Prize, and had amazing organizational skills, along with the compassion and love for humanity. She lived most of her life feeling disconnected, though, to God. Hear that? She was not somebody who naturally felt connected to God and needed the community to help hold her in prayer. Maybe some of us guys need to be better at joining in with each other to help us to pray more. I'm saying that out to you as a challenge to you and myself. She talked about having a dark night of the soul, and some of her letters talked about that. For example, Mother Teresa wrote, "Come be my light." And she talked about darkness. I'll quote to you. She was suffering from loneliness, that sense of being unloved, unwanted in her relationship with Jesus. But she learned that God had a mission for her. Probably her calling card is this. Hear it. The fruit of silence is prayer. The fruit of prayer is faith. The fruit of faith is love. The fruit of love is service. The fruit of service is peace. And then how did she put all that together so that she had prayer and action? Well, just look at her daily routine. She would get up early, then she'd say prayers and have breakfast. Then she'd work for the poor, distributing bread. And then there'd be lunchtime and rest. You must have rest. And she had time to do some reading and meditation. And then there's a tea break, and then adoration of Jesus. And then more work for the poor. After which was dinner and clean up, and then night prayers, and then bedtime. This was a woman who had a lot of criticism. People still criticize her. People often criticize nuns, I notice. They try and make out that they're religious and uptight people. Mother Teresa wrote these words, and I've read them to you. You tell me that these come out of a bitter spirit. They don't. They come out of a loving heart. She said this: people are often unreasonable, irrational, self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you're kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you're successful, you will win some unfaithful friends and some genuine enemies. Succeed anyway. If you're honest and sincere, people may deceive you. Be honest and sincere anyway. What you spend years creating, others can destroy overnight. Create anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, some may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today will often be forgotten. Do good anyway. Give the best you have, and it will never be enough. Give your best anyway. And finally, it is between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. Enough of Mother Teresa. I'm coming back to you for the last few comments. And as we come back, I want to say that it's down to reflect between you and me how we are going to pray regularly. I am fortunate. I belong to a community that does pray every day. That's Trinity College. We pray at 8:30 in the morning and 5 o'clock in the evening. The 8:30 prayer time is a requirement for all those who are training to be ordained in the Church of England, and the 5 p.m. time is optional. We use the Common Worship Prayer Book to pray, and this has a different service for morning and evening. It also has seasonal variations for Lent, Easter, Common Time, Advent, and Christmas. When you pray these prayers daily, you become familiar with the changes in daily readings and psalms and the consistency of the liturgical framework. That's canticles and patterns. When I'm not able to be at prayer, I use the daily prayer app in my car, or I put earbuds in when I'm on my motorbike or bicycle, my push bike. And so I sense that I am able to join in corporate prayer. My friends, join me in this achievement, not achievement, it's this pursuit of prayer. But I think we need each other. I need you. You need me. We need to help each other to keep praying, to pray daily, twice a day, 5 times a day, all the time.